If the term Cauda Equina Syndrome still sounds confusing to you, then don't skip this video. Because in this video, within just a few minutes, you will master Cauda Equina Syndrome in the easiest possible way with the simple explanations, easy to remember mnemonics, and at last scenarios to check your knowledge. In this lecture, we are going to cover everything you need to know about the Cauda Equina Syndrome, starting from basics. What actually is the Cauda Equina Syndrome? What does the term Cauda Equina actually means? Which nerves are involved? The pathophysiology, clinical features, diagnosis of the Cauda Equina, and the most important part of this lecture is differential diagnosis. That is important for your exam. Because for your exam, it's not enough to know simply what the Cauda Equina Syndrome is. You should also know how to differentiate it from the other conditions with similar presentations. And especially, you need to know how do we differentiate the Cauda Equina from the Conus Medullaris Syndrome. If you usually get confused between these two, don't worry. By the end of this lecture, the difference will be crystal clear with simple concepts and mnemonics. Finally, we will cover the management and the treatment, including both medical, surgical, or physiotherapy management. So basically, in this one lecture, we will cover definition, anatomy, nerves involved, functions, pathophysiology, causes, clinical features, diagnosis, differential diagnosis, Conus Medullaris and Cauda Equina differential diagnosis, treatment and physiotherapy management, and at last we'll discuss the two scenarios. So don't skip this video and make sure you watched it till the end. First, let's talk about the term Cauda Equina Syndrome. So it is a Latin word, Cauda Equina. Cauda means tail, equina means horse. So Cauda Equina means horse tail, because the nerves at the bottom of the spinal cord looks like horse tail. And syndrome means a group of signs and symptoms. So what does the Cauda Equina Syndrome means? Cauda Equina Syndrome happens when the nerves at the lower end of the spinal cord are compressed, squeezed. It can affect the legs, bladder, bowel, and sensations around the groin or the buttock area. Now let's talk about the nerves of the Cauda Equina. Where do they come from? Actually, Cauda Equina is not one nerve. It is a bundle of many spinal nerves. The spinal cord ends around the level of L1, L2 vertebra in adults. But the nerve roots that need to go to the lower parts of the body have to travel further down inside the spinal canal. These nerve roots descend from the lower spinal cord and then exit through the openings between the lumbar and the sacral vertebra. Together, these long descending nerves look like a horse tail. So, they are called Cauda Equina. That is a Latin word. Which nerves are involved? Mainly the nerve roots from L2, L3, L4, L5, S1, S2, S3, S4, S5 plus CO1 are involved. CO1 is the first pair of the coccygeal nerves. They supply different areas of the leg, pelvis, bladder, bowel, and sexual organs. What are their functions? Movement. They control the muscles of the legs and some pelvic muscles. Sensation. They carry sensation from the legs, buttocks, perineum, and other areas back to the spinal cord. They help control bladder sensation and emptying. They help control bowel function. Some of these sacral nerves are involved in sexual functions. Now, easy way to remember is spinal cord ends, nerve root continues downward, root exit one by one. Together they look like a horse tail, and that is Cauda Equina. And when these nerve roots become severely compressed, it is called Cauda Equina Syndrome, or simply CES. Let's talk about the pathophysiology of CES, or the Cauda Equina Syndrome. In Cauda Equina Syndrome, these nerve roots become compressed due to various causes. Compression can reduce the blood supply to the nerve roots and interfere with the normal nerve conduction, affecting sensory, motor, and autonomic functions. If the compression is severe or prolonged, it can lead to permanent nerve damage, lasting neurological deficits. Let's talk about the causes of the Cauda Equina Syndrome. Most common cause is large lumbar disc herniation or prolapse, especially L4, L5 or L5S1. Other causes may include spinal canal tumor, spinal stenosis, spinal trauma or fracture, epidural abscess, spinal hematoma or bleeding, inflammatory condition, post-operative complications, less commonly other masses or lesions compressing the Cauda equina. Coming towards the clinical features, important symptoms include low back pain, sciatica often affecting one or both legs, leg weakness, numbness or altered sensation, saddle anesthesia, numbness around the perineum, buttock, and the inner thighs. Saddle anesthesia covers all the area that touches the saddle of the horse. Urinary retention or difficulty starting urination, later loss of bladder control, bowel dysfunction, sexual dysfunctions, reduced or absent reflexes may occur. The most concerning CES features are saddle anesthesia, bladder dysfunction, and bilateral leg symptoms. Now let's talk about the diagnosis. It's a clinical emergency, so most important investigation is urgent MRI of lumbosacral spine. Clinical examination include motor power of both legs, sensory examination, reflexes, saddle or the perineal sensations, anal tone when clinically indicated, assessment of bladder function including post-void residual volume when appropriate. Post-void residual volume is the amount of urine left in your bladder after urination. MRI shows the cause and the level of nerve root compression. Coming towards the most important part, that is differential diagnosis, conditions that can produce similar symptoms include severe lumbar disc herniation or the radiculopathy, lumbar spinal stenosis, Conus Medullaris Syndrome, spinal cord compression or the myelopathy, peripheral neuropathy, plexopathy, severe hip pathology, pelvic disorders causing bladder and the bowel symptoms. Now, coming towards the CES, Cauda Equina Syndrome, and the Conus Medullaris difference, that is very important for exam. Firstly, we'll talk about Cauda equina. Nerve roots are affected. Cauda equina is usually asymmetrical. Lower motor neuron signs are there. Severe radicular pain is common. Irreflexia or hyperreflexia. Absent knee or ankle jerks. Coming towards the conus medullaris and of the spinal cord itself is affected, symptoms tend to be more symmetrical. Upper plus lower motor neuron features can occur. Bladder, bowel, and sexual dysfunction can appear early. Conus Medullaris Syndrome spares the knee jerk, L3, L4, while wiping out the ankle jerk, S1, S2, and specialized sacral reflexes. Yes, for Cauda Equina Syndrome, think of treatment as medical surgical first, physiotherapy later. The first one is medical or the surgical treatment. Since CES is a medical emergency, step number 1 is immediate referral. Suspect CES or the Cauda Equina Syndrome as urgent hospital or the emergency referrals. Keep the patient NPO, that is nothing by mouth, if surgery may be required according to the hospital protocol. Urgent MRI lumbosacral spine. Step number 2 will be treat the cause if MRI confirms the significant compression. The main treatment is usually urgent surgical decompression, for example, removing a large disc prolapse or an other compression lesion. Other causes may include that should be treated are tumor, abscess, and hematoma. Step number 3 is sportive management, pain control, bladder management, often including catheterization if there is urinary retention, bowel management, prevention of pressure sores, and DVT in patients with significant weakness and mobility. Now let's talk about the physiotherapy management. Important thing is that physiotherapy does not treat the acute nerve compression itself. First, the compression must be medically assessed and treated. After medical or surgical stabilization, early phase of physiotherapy includes positioning and pressure relief education, breathing exercises if appropriate, gentle range of motion exercises, maintain joint mobility, prevent contractures, bed mobility, and transfer training. As the patient improves, progressive strengthening of weak muscles, core or trunk control, balance training, gait training, walking aids if required, function trainings that include stairs, sit to stand, and the daily activities. For bowel and bladder control, coordinate with the medical team and specialists. Pelvic floor rehabilitation may be considered later depending on the patient's neurological status. Long-term goal should be strength and endurance training, gait rehabilitation, neurological re-education, home exercise program, education about safety and prevention of falls. Now, the physiotherapy red flag: if a patient comes to you with new urinary retention or incontinence, plus saddle anesthesia, plus progressive bilateral leg weakness, don't start routine physiotherapy or manipulation. Suspect CES, stop treatment, urgent emergency referral, MRI. Now, at last, let's talk about the clinical scenarios. I want you all to answer these in comment box. A 48-year-old male presents with sudden onset of bilateral leg weakness and numbness. Following a fall, on examination, he has saddle anesthesia involving the perineal region. His bladder function is affecting with urinary retention and he sports sexual dysfunctions. Neurological examination shows bilateral and relatively symmetrical lower limb weakness. Sensory loss mainly in saddle or the perineal region, early bladder and the bowel dysfunction, mixed upper motor neuron and the lower motor neuron signs may be present. Ankle reflexes may be reduced while other reflexes can be relatively preserved. Pain may be less severe. Clinical scenario 2, a 52-year-old male with a history of severe lumbar disc prolapse develops severe low back pain radiating down the right leg. Over the next few hours, he develops weakness in both legs and numbness in the perineal region. Neurological examination shows asymmetrical lower limb weakness, severe radicular pain, especially in the right leg, dermatomal sensory loss, saddle anesthesia, reduced or absent deep tendon reflexes, flaccid weakness, and possible muscle wasting. Urinary retention develops later in the course. So this was all for today. Thank you for watching this video. Remember me in your prayers.